Vim aqui no seu podcast para te contar que com o app BitBank, o primeiro criptobanco do Brasil, você pode ter um cartão que te dá até 10% de cashback em reais, criptomoedas ou até dólar digital. A experiência é simples e intuitiva, mesmo para quem nunca investiu. Comece hoje mesmo a receber cashback em compras de qualquer valor. Acesse bit.com.br. BitBank, para você viver investindo.
Alrighty, guys, welcome to tonight's show, guys. We got a good one. I think I broke the freaking glass ceiling last night with the panel there. Everybody was talking over each other. It's all right. Hey, it's what makes a good show. Good demeanor, good attitude. Last night, for those who did not tune into the live Twitch show that we did on Twitch, affiliated with Rumble, as well as our other channels, we had a damn good show. We had, for our first time, the Who and What Club podcast joining us from Toronto, Canada last night. Very, very interesting character, if I may add. Also had my co-hosts, both Soslin and Jimmy the Rant, joining us. So it was really, really an honor having them both on the show at the same time. Really, really good stuff. As well as Tommy Nation Politics podcast joining us all the way from Dallas, Texas. So for those who missed that show, I highly you guys tune into that show. You can catch the replay on both Rumble and Twitch, guys. You can check me out. Patriot Angle Podcast will pop right up, guys. But tonight, guys, filling in for my co-host that normally joins me. He had a little, feeling a little under the weather. He had a lot of prior commitments. I get it. He's a young kid, and he's pretty much fighting for our country every single day. Soslin Temison, that usually joins us here on the show. But joining us today and filling in for Soslin will be my good friend from Detroit, the author of Terror Strikes, coming to a city near you, Joseph M. Leonard, going to be joining the show momentarily in the digital green room. But guys, before we start the show, I want to literally ask my audience and the people joining us, like literally, is the liberal machine getting strong enough? Is it going to break barriers in this country? Who knows? I think we're seeing it little by little. And I'm sure Joseph is listening here, and he's got a lot of comments on this. I want to get into the most craziest, I think, radicalized political ad by Newsom of California. We got a lot on that. We got a lot on what the radical left, their agenda plans to do with this country. But guys, be right back after this short word. Don't touch the dial. Got a lot of good stuff tonight.
Section 562 would discharge service members that have violated Department of Defense Instruction 1325.06 relating to extremist activity. Ooh, what is that? This instruction has been updated to include Trump supporters post-January 6th. Let's dive into this one a little bit. So just to clarify there, Section 562 will discharge any service member that's violated the DOD's instruction relating to extremist activity. So let's talk about what exactly it is. Now, Section 562, extremist activity by a member of the armed forces, notion and service record, TAP counseling. Counseling sounds like a re-education camp. Okay, this section would direct the Department of Defense to establish a transition assistance program module for de-radicalization training for members of the armed services who have violated the Department of Defense instruction per 1325.06. De-radicalization training. Counseling. Sounds like a re-education camp. Well, I think you know that's targeted directly at conservatives and Trump supporters. because those are the kind of people they definitely don't want in the military anymore. And you want to know something? They're doing a good job of achieving that, because those are the exact people that are not interested in military recruitment right now. And that's why the numbers for the Army have gone from 8,000 on average a month down to 28 in the month of May. So they're achieving their goal. And you want to know who's going to lose?
Bullshit.
We are. America is going to lose, because the most patriotic, the most wonderful people that believe in service to God and service to country are conservatives, and they are Trump supporters.
Yeah, they are.
And
they are
MTG. They have always
I
been
agree with this one.
the ones that have defended our country and defended our freedoms. And you want to know something? They don't want to have anything to do with Biden's woke military.
The wokeness must come to an end.
That is a problem for all of us.
Broadcasting from the Big Peach of Atlanta, Georgia. A show unfiltered, unscripted, raw. The Patriot Angle Podcast.
All righty, guys. Well, welcome, guys. I'm about to bring Joseph in here. Thank you very much, Joseph, for your patience. I think you understand why there's a delay here in tonight's show. I normally put guests right away. But, guys, I do want, before I bring Joseph on, I do want to thank him for literally blowing up the exposure to the show, and also giving him exposure as well as an author, okay? We are now literally recording live and streaming live on our Twitch panel, US Patriot Unfiltered on Twitch. I see some people coming on Twitch. Thank you very much. Get the comments, get the concerns, the thoughts, however you want to put them through. We got a lot of heated political topics tonight. We need to address just what the hell is going on with this now, what I'm calling it, a radical democratic swamp of a creature. It's like it's worse than the Loch Ness monster, folks. This monster is literally getting stronger and stronger every single day, breathing not only fire, but literally mucus of virus into this country. So I do want to thank Joseph for literally blowing up the stream tonight on his paired channels. Thank you very much, Joseph. Streaming live on his Facebook account, as well as YouTube, J Leonard Detroit, and as well as his Twitter. I am of hashtag the regular 2024, if I had that correct. Joseph may have to correct me on that one. But we're about to bring Joseph into the stream. How are you doing, buddy? It's been a while.
I'm doing great, my friend. Thanks for having me on again. And I'm glad that the restream is working so that I'm able to broadcast you live over some of my feeds. This is a first for me to finally get this to work. So so this will be fun.
Yeah, real good stuff.
I wanted to say real quick about MTG. I mean, she's absolutely right. Re-education camps. And it's only for conservative patriots who love the country. Literally, communists and fascists rioting, looting, burning down American communities aren't radicals. They're given a pass. Antifa, black-lying Marxists. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. People who hate America within, just like the terrorists I talk about in my book, Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You, want to destroy us from without. You got American leftist, radical, communist, fascists trying to destroy us from within. And this is MTG's speech is perfect to tie into my book. I discuss all that in my book. Not just those outside America that hate America, but the idiots in our own country who this country has given everything to that hate it anyway.
I totally agree. I totally agree, Joseph. You know, we're basically, we're becoming a country more third world than ever. You know, she tied into a really good set of scenarios. You know, where did you hear the part where they were saying about the concentration camps or re-education camps? Like,
yes.
Why do we have to be re-educated? I just don't understand that part.
In this country, you're free to think whatever warped thoughts you wish to think, as long as those thoughts then don't turn to actions that impede on the rights and freedoms of others. Like Antifa and blackline Marxists are free to hate America and spew hateful, destructive rhetoric all they want. But once they spill into the streets and act like Hitlerian brown shirts or El Duce black shirts trying to shut down figuratively or literally their opposition through violence and arson, then that's where their rights are gone. And they must be prosecuted. But instead, what do we have? The January 6th farces. And I've released a press release on that whole January 6th farce and the overblown false narrative of right-wing terrorism in our country. And you could see that at terrorstrikes.info/press-releases. terrorstrikes.info/press releases.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, Joseph. You know, like, I was talking about a little bit similar talking about tonight on last night's show we had a panel of 5 from all walks of life. I mean, we had some.
Oh, I bet that was a free for all.
Oh,
bet that was a free for all.
It was like a web. It was crazy, Joseph. Crazy. We had people agreeing with the progressive left. We had people agreeing with the far right. We had liberals. We had leftists. We had Republicans. We had turncoats on this show. Everybody was just like literally disagreeing with one another. I had the two liberals on my show last night literally disagreeing with each other. And I'm like, this is pretty interesting. Really, really interesting. You know, where you have two liberals.
After tonight's show, I'm definitely going to have to go back and check that replay. I haven't seen it. I'll have to check that out right after this. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we definitely broke the freaking glass ceiling on that show. I mean, literally. As a podcast host, I thought you're only allowed to bring like 3 or 4 the most. I mean, 5 at one time, 5 little windows. And I'm like, whoa, hold the phone. Everybody needs a time. I was thinking about muting people because literally people talking over people. I mean, I'm telling you what, it did make for good talk radio, to be honest with you. Really good talk radio.
Well, your show is usually groundbreaking, so I'm glad you had another.
Well, it's very unfiltered. Yeah, I don't hold back. Yeah, that's a given.
Yeah,
but Joseph,
I love coming back on your show because yours is one of the most hard-hitting on the internet, and I'm glad again to be able to restream on a couple of my avenues of social media to help bolster your audience.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I do appreciate that. I did have a video that we did earlier today. Folks, I do apologize. I was trying to make it part of tonight's stream just to give a thank you to the audience that do catch this show, whether it's the live video streams or the replays, whether it's on Rumble or Twitch or any other platform we decide to post to, or the audio platforms, because I mean, we're on like now 6 or 7, including Amazon and Amazon Alexa. But it's believe it or not, it's a big file, Joseph. It's still actually downloading. But we did post the one file that was ready, and you can catch that on the Instagram and the Facebook, as well as our TikTok and Rumble platform, where we just give a little thanks to just show the listeners, Joseph, like how we value them and appreciate them tuning in. Because I mean, we're getting different types of viewers, different types of audience, depending on the topic and everything. I mean, we're viewed right now 70% of the United States on a daily basis, which is great. And then we're doing wonderful in Ireland, catching about 5% in Ireland, mostly in the Dublin area. So thank you very much to my Irish followers and listeners. Thank you. As well as my Canadian followers, getting strong following in Canada, as well as Japan, showing a good solid 10% in Japan. Thank you very much to the folks in Japan. As well as the United Kingdom. So we're going all over the place, which is great. Great,
That's great. And since now Joe Biden has set the precedence and we're supposed to refer to everybody by food, it's great to have the limeys, the potatoes, and the cherry blossoms all on board. It's a joke, right? Folks. It's a joke.
Oh, yeah, I got it. For those who didn't catch it, joke, hint, But Joseph, since we're talking about food shortages and inflation, now Biden and folks, this is sick. This is what's sick. He's taking credit of this, Joseph, where the food inflation is now hitting a 14% high, the highest in almost 30, almost 40 years. Have you seen that come out? That came out actually 2 days ago, where Fox actually covered on that piece. 14%. Yeah.
And supposedly the overall inflation rate 9.1, which is clearly way artificially underinflated. We're in Jimmy Carter territory here. We're in double digits, but they're suppressing. I mean, there's memes all over social media, obviously, where you can see the pointing out of that with the cost of so many things being up 20, 30%. There's no way in hell that the actual inflation rate is 9.1%. It's like the unemployment rate that is artificially manipulated low. They started this under the Obama-Biden administration. Now Biden is doing it again, where they changed the definition of who is included in the unemployment statistics. So if you're no longer at the unemployment office saying I'm looking for a job and collecting an unemployment check, they don't count you in those statistics. All that really matters is the labor participation rate. That is always a 100% steady, reliable indicator. And the labor participation rate was at a record low under Obama-Biden, and it is now again hit another new record low under Biden. People aren't working, and they're not even bothering to look for work because they know a lot of the jobs are too hard to get, which is not to say there aren't jobs out there. There's a lot of people who are saying, I know I could just vote for Democrats and they'll give me a handout. Why work? I don't have to work. This, what's the Bernie Sanders socialized income or standard income? I forget the technical term they call that, but they want that. They want the government to hand out a subsidized check to people who won't work. And they know if they vote Democrat, they can get that.
Yeah, we touched just briefly, Joseph, last night. Tommy Nation, he's a big big supporter of Bernie Sanders. Matter of fact, the co-host here, Jimmy the Rant, was like asking him. He's like, "Hey, Tommy, did you vote for Biden?" He says, "No, you can have Biden. I actually voted for Bernie Sanders." And then I'm like, "What? You voted for this? A socialist, Tommy? Like, do you understand what socialism is all about? Like, has it crossed your mind? Socialism does not do anything right for America. Like, you're talking about subsidizing and stuff like that. Socialism, if I have correct, Joseph, where the government literally gives you, like we're talking about food before that, almost similar to like if you're going to a freaking soup kitchen and you only get the bare minimum just to survive. You know what I mean? Like as a homeless person or something. That's what socialism is.
It's always the dumbing down. And I had that brain fart. I thought of what it is. They call it universal income, right? What it is universal poverty. It's a stipend. Like you said, it's barely enough to get by, just enough to keep you a slave of the state. It's the new Democrat plantation. They want slaves. They just have to go about it a different way. They've never changed their thinking. They want a plantation with slaves on it that they keep, they control, are assured will always act the way the master tells them to. And we see a lot of that today. Again, and I touch on that in my book. People in this nation with $1,000 iPhones, $600 shoes on their feet, going around complaining about free markets capitalism and having to actually work and earn their own way to buy that iPhone and shoes.
They don't understand, Joseph. They don't understand a damn thing. You know, like you say, they'll complain about the capitalism and capitalism is so wrong for America and this and that. But you know, I go to question the same thing, and I'm like, you know, these folks, they don't even know what the hell they're complaining about because they don't even know what the hell or the term capitalism is. They don't completely understand it. They think it's the worst thing for America, but in reality, Joseph, it's the best thing for America. It will help America. It will make us succeed and survive into the next generation. You know what I mean?
There would not have been a Steve Jobs. There would have not have been a iPods. There would not be iPads. There would not be iPhones without the free markets and capitalism here in America. Those things wouldn't exist. Yet they have these things and they rail against the system that allowed them to have them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By far. Hold that thought, Joseph. We are getting a live comment coming in from the Twitch panel on my panel from Snith115. If I am pronouncing that name correct, not, I do highly, highly apologize. Please, if I am pronouncing it wrong, please, with respect, show the correct pronunciation because my wording is sometimes off. But we do have a comment in here. And if Joseph, if you're to comment on this, please feel free. Snith115 is saying everyone in America is a slave. Everyone contributes to the system, whether you like it or not. What's your thoughts on that, Joseph?
Well, since we are not a true republic anymore, and since we are not true free markets anymore, I would agree with that. But the left, the socialists, the communists, the fascists want to take us further than that. Jared Howe, who gave a great quote, something like food, your iPhone, things that require the labor of another or the capital investment of another is not a human right. You don't have a right. That's why it doesn't exist in the Constitution to food. You don't have a right to health care, because to force others to give their time, their labor, their service to you is to make them your slave. And that is not how our system works. Again, the left has never abandoned slavery. It's just a new form of plantation. So is synth right? Yes, to some degree. And we need to stop the Titanic before we can turn the Titanic around, or it will be too late and we hit that iceberg and the nation is completely sunk, to use a metaphor. Although I like to joke, I'm so smart, I'm too clever, I don't use metaphors, I use meta sixes.
I do the same thing, Joseph. That's why I love your demeanor of character, because you and I can relate so much on different levels. For those who are coming into Twitch, as well as Joseph's YouTube channel here, please leave the comments in. Continue bringing them in, guys. I will plug in as many comments as possible. We want to make this show very relevant to the listeners, as well as Joseph's following as well, too. Joseph, got another comment coming in here. Like I said, I'll try my best, guys, to bring them in. Mezer is basically saying, cough, right? How does the left create slavery? That's weird. That's the entire opposite of what the left want. Note, by note, he did leave a note, Joseph. I'm a registered independent, and I'm a primary center in my value and principles.
I just explained how they are reinstituting slavery. If Obamacare can dictate price controls on a physician, or can dictate how a physician can or cannot act, what they can or cannot prescribe to you, that makes them a slave to the master government. It can't be explained any simpler than that. And if someone's so indoctrinated by the public indoctrination factories doesn't do some research and can't grasp that, then, I can't help them. And sorry, Meezer, I don't mean to attack you, but this is the lack of thinking. The ability of critical thinking is gone in this country, and common sense is long gone. And I forget who it was. I forget the name. I've got a meme, but it was a former communist from 50 years ago who said, the Communist Party is irrelevant. We will bring in communism and slavery to the citizenry through the liberal Democrats. And we see that happening today. And they're so miseducated or uneducated and unwilling to do any research for themselves. They don't get it.
Well, Joseph, I agree with you. The same handle here from Twitch basically saying that's correct. They tax you even at death. At death? Yeah. How the? Okay.
Yeah, the inheritance tax. If there is anything more immoral than the inheritance tax, and Meezer, who put that in place? It wasn't Republicans. It was Democrats. Republicans have attempted and have at times lowered it, attempted to completely eliminate that tax, because it is what? A double tax. You pay the tax once, then you're paying it a second time in sales taxes, then you're paying it a third time at death. That's because it's a supposed wealth tax. Well, most of the Democrats in Congress are millionaires, and they're not farmers, though. So they want to steal money from the family farmers and not let them pass down the family farm to help you and I actually eat. Instead, they want to tax that farming family to death to the point where they have to sell the farm to a contractor to build a bunch of low project rent housing on it instead. And then what do we get? Food shortages. It's not a coincidence. It's not a surprise. And always follow the money.
Well, Joseph, we're going back to basically we're going back in time, like this president, like you said, you mentioned, this is all this that we're seeing, right? Right. I mean, we're seeing like maybe a Jimmy Carter, right? We're seeing a little bit of Nixon. A lot of people are like, oh no, we're going back to Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan. What the hell are you smoking? Ronald Reagan had this country flooding the economy, brought great jobs to this country, had people actually wanting to work. This president is literally making people so fucking depressed that people are not wanting to work. They're doing this. Joseph, they're doing this. Oh, I need a handout. I need more stimulus.
Yeah.
No, you assholes. Get off your damn asses. Get off your hind horses and find the work. It may not be $20, $30 an hour that you want now, but work. Uncle Sam is not going to take care of you.
You've got to start at low-level jobs, get the skills to get a better job. You don't get to start at the top, and that's the ignorance of young people today. They're entitled. They think they deserve to get a job as CEO the minute they're out of college. Or those who don't go to college, oh, I don't have to work at McDonald's and actually earn or work skills, and develop skills, and prove that I am actually worth more. And I'd like to thank Synth for chiming in as a farmer himself. But Meeser, you mentioned the Overton window.
Yeah.
And yes, the Overton window, though, has been moving left in this country. It's the left-right paradigm, which, of course, is miseducated. No, Nazis were not on the spot. We're not right-wing. The political spectrum is the right side of the scale. Far right, you have anarchy. No government, no controls. You answer to no one for nothing. There are no governments. There are no places except for like maybe the North Pole and the South Pole or some remote parts of the Amazon where there is anarchy. The Republic of the United States was founded somewhat to the left of anarchy. Now, the far left of the spectrum is full government control. That includes the Nazis. That includes fascists, socialists, and communists. And then slightly to the right of that, but still left of center, is monarchies. Now, we've been moving further and further and further left the last 150 years of this republic. And it's getting ridiculous. We need to stop it. We need to return to a constitutional republic, where like we were founded. And that's where the Overton window comes in that Glenn Beck made so famous. Because the further left the left-wing wackos go, the rhinos move left with them. And us conservatives, it's like Elon Musk. Elon Musk tweeted something perfect. You remember this tweet where he showed the political spectrum, right, left, center.
Yeah, that was just recently, Joseph. Just recently. Hold that thought, Joseph. Yeah,
he
1
showed
second.
where he was on the scale, and the Democrat Party has gone off the left-hand deep end. He hasn't changed. The Fascocrat Party has changed, and I don't say Fascocrats lightly. Do some damn research. There are 28 planks in the DNC platform that are taken from the National Socialist Deutschland Arbeiter Party, the Nazi Party platform. Read the damn documents. Look at them for yourself. You could call socialized medicine Obamacare and whatever lipstick on a pig you want, but it is from the Nazi Party platform. It's not about healthcare.
Yeah.
It's about power and control over people. And like I talked about Jared Howe, healthcare is not a right because you do not have the right to enslave doctors and nurses and tell them what they can and cannot do in a free society that we were founded as.
Yeah, sorry, Joseph, hold that thought here because I got some. Yeah, I got some comments coming in, guys. Please bear with me. I'm gonna try to get the comments in. You got really, really good comments, guys. But please, I gotta get a quick. Joseph making really, really good points. Seems to be pissing off some of the viewers tuning in. So yeah, I'm some words, guys. But I gotta get a quick break in. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these short words, guys. Don't touch the dial.
I really doubt that we're going to see an inflationary cycle.
Most economic analysts believe that it will have a temporary or transitory impact.
The faster than expected increase in some of those prices is actually a good sign.
The overwhelming consensus is going to pop up a little bit and then go back down. No one's talking about this great deal.
This is something that will settle down.
Transitory.
And the data shows that most of the price increases we've seen were expected and are expected to be temporary. There's nobody suggesting there's unchecked inflation on the way. It's highly unlikely that there's going to be long-term inflation that's going to get out of hand. I don't know anybody who's worried about inflation.
Over the last couple of months, we actually saw it trended downward.
President Biden's chief of staff, Ron Klain, enthusiastically retweeted an economist who had said in part most of the economic problems we're facing, inflation, supply chains, et cetera, are high-class problems.
What is the Granholm plan to increase oil production in America?
Oh my God, that is hilarious. Well, the number one thing that the president can do is help get COVID under control. That we know is the root cause of inflation.
President Biden this afternoon saying he thinks we're at the peak of the crisis right now and that lower prices are on the way.
The inflation has everything to do with the supply chain. Make no mistake, inflation is largely the fault of Putin. I'm going to do everything I can.
All righty, guys, we're back here. Show of shows, guys. I got Meezer coming from literally wanting questions about fascism.
Having
I'll
a
read
meltdown.
this.
Yeah,
having a meltdown. It's kind of. Yeah. 1 second, Joseph. I know you're fired up because Joseph is a man of politics, lives it, breathes it out of his pores. But me saying
wrote about it.
Far right. Yeah. Hold on, Joseph. You got Meezer saying that far right, you have fascism. Far left, you have radical anarchy against a state. Most Americans sit in the bulk of the center between. It's time to take away the pedestal kissing to corrupt political church numbskulls. What do you mean by that, sir? Let me say something first, Joseph, if I may. Here's the thing. Okay, we have a political specter from left and right? You have the right, you have the left. Is this anything new, Joseph? We've been literally arguing for generations. This country wasn't born yesterday. This country is still fairly young at heart, but we weren't born yesterday. We were born in 1776, and we've had the same same issues for the last 200 plus years. Okay. We're still going to have the same issues for the next 200 plus years. Okay. Has it gone a little radicalized since the last 200 plus years? Absolutely. Absolutely. We are seeing a brand new political agenda coming into this country, more radicalized. Okay. And most of what we're seeing now, Joseph, is through politicians trying to orchestrate third world principles. Okay. They think it's going to work. You know, everybody's huffing and puffing about socialism. It's the greatest thing on planet Earth. No, it's not. It destroys countries. It destroys societies. I don't know what you leftists and liberals out there think that socialism is a great thing and capitalism is such a horrible thing. Capitalism works. Socialism kills families. It kills businesses. It kills everything in its way of destruction. And Joseph, you wrote that socialism is in your book. You do talk about socialism and how it's such a danger to our society, correct?
Yeah, socialism destroyed the Weimar Republic. Look at in our time. Socialism destroyed Venezuela. I welcome Miser. Please, I'll give you a one-way ticket, paid one-way ticket to fly to Venezuela and stay there since you love socialism so much. And we're not talking about the same thing anymore, actually, Mike, because the left twists the language. You see it with Miser. You know, look at the psychological projection there and the pot calling the kettle black, right? The left twists the language. They distort the left-right paradigm, right? He's still, again, trying to put fascism, which is government control, leftism, on the right side of the scale. Look at the abortion issue, how they have to twist the language. They cannot admit to the fact that they're okay with killing babies. They deny the 14th Amendment protection of right to life. They deny it. They call it health care. I'm sorry. Explain to me, Miser, how a baby in the womb is actually like disease. It's not health care. It's normal. It's natural. It's not a tumor. It's not a cancerous tumor that you remove from the body. It has and exists on its own merits, its own life. But they have to redefine and twist the terms, like reproductive rights. Once conception.
Well, he's saying right here. Hold on, Joseph. He's basically saying that, you know, I think he is kind of agreeing with a little bit of what we're saying, that socialism has always failed. Marxism is an archaic concept that cannot be applied to a capitalist world we live in now. Marxism was invented as a response to the industrial age. We're way past that now. How are we way past that now? Okay? Please. You know, if more than I do, please explain. The rights and ordinate fear of a ghost in the, I didn't get that last part. I guess he's still writing. But, you know, like, you know.
This is the college professor pretzel logic. Socialism has failed because it hasn't been done right. We're so smart. We are so intelligent. We will actually do socialism right this time. It won't fail. It's just clueless people have no life experience who live in these intellectual padded cells of delusion, refuse to deal in reality. Socialism's failed, yeah, so he's going to admit that because he's backed into a corner, but yet the next words out of his mouth are going to be, we'll do it right this time. You know, you could tell he's just flip-flopping. He's like a fish out of water. Now he's going to flop and throw
well, he's saying that,
at the wall.
Joseph, he's saying that appeal to authority and call fallacy abuse. He's saying that the appeal to the authority, cough, fallacy abuse. Okay.
Everything he says is a fallacy. You
okay, so Meeser, let me see something here. Okay, thank you for your support, by the way. Okay, I'm not attacking you. I really thank you for your support. Thank you for coming on the show and literally, coming out with comments like this. I love it. Thank you. Bring more in. Okay, I always say thank you to the support, whether you're a leftist or a rightist. It's not about attacking. It's about making points. Okay, I do want you to understand that. Me and Joseph are making valuable points. Okay, now there was an article that came out a few years ago by Bernie Sanders. Okay, that I talked about a little bit with Tommy Nation Politics. Jimmy made a valuable point on Bernie Sanders. And a lot of people are questioning, Joseph, why Bernie Sanders never literally got the nomination on the top. First and foremost, folks, if you look at your presidential history, you look at the statistics, independents, whether they are a liberal, a Republican, a socialist, a communist, any independent does not dominate the Republican or Democratic ticket. It never happened in our history of politics. Never. I mean, I actually looked it up. I want to make sure that it was accurate. No independent ever got the nomination for presidency. A lot of people question it. Joseph, did Joe Biden cheat Bernie Sanders out? I want your comments on that, Joseph, because a lot of people are questioning the same statement.
Well, yeah, isn't it interesting how if we question the 2020 election, we're conspiracy nuts, but Hillary Clinton questioned the 2016 election and said Trump was an illegitimate president. So again, it's psychological projection and the pot calling the kettle black, and you hit the nail on the head. Clearly, within the Democrat Party itself, they stole that election from Bernie Sanders. The primary election was stolen from Bernie Sanders. And I want to say one weird thing about Bernie. I mean, he's a hypocrite, just like all the Democrat socialists. Or
by far, and is a huge hypocrite. He'll think he can remain power. Him and AOC and the whole squad.
Well, let me finish this thought. He has 3 multi-million-dollar homes. He has is it a Ferrari or a Lamborghini? He's not driving an electric car. One of his multi-million-dollar mansions is on the beach while they're still peddling this. We're all going to die because the sea levels are rising. Don't listen to what someone says. Look at how they act. They're liars. They're hypocrites. And, so yes, I do believe Bernie had the Democrat nomination stolen from him in, 2016 or yeah. So, because again, they thought Hillary had to be anointed as the standard bearer. It was her term. And don't get me wrong, Republicans aren't perfect. I'm a conservative, not a Republican. I'm only a Republican by necessity because there's no other place to go. The Libertarian Party is a joke. There is no other party for conservatives to be but to work within the Republican framework. But please, I've been involved in politics since 1978, and I have been fighting rhinos just as hard as I've been fighting fascocrats for 5 decades now.
Yeah, Joseph, let me just clear the records here. Folks who are tuning into Twitch as well as Joseph's channels here, both Joseph's YouTube channel, Jay Leonard Detroit, as his Twitter account. Guys, let me just clear the records here. Joseph is not a politician, but he is fighting for this country. He's fighting for this country. He's fighting so hard that this man decided to write a book to expose the corruption in this country, which we're seeing every single day. Oh, thank you, Meezer. You have to lay out the facts, don't you, buddy? Speaking of wealth in Congress, oh, you have to put the little website in. Okay, well, thank you. I'll plug it in anyway. Yeah, that's... what is this? Wikipedia? Wikipedia, Meezer, is not always accurate. My friend, if you want accurate truth, don't go to Wikipedia, please. It's
going to Wikipedia is like turning on CNN or MSNBC. The left loons have taken over Wikipedia, and it's a joke. It used to be worth something when it first started.
I totally agree with you, Synth 115. Yes, Wikipedia is not valid. It's complete bullshit. It's like Joseph labeled it. It's like turning on to CNN or CNN. Wait, CNN Plus. I'm sorry, they're bankrupt. They don't exist anymore. But exactly. Evidence. The evidence. You want evidence?
Why haven't the courts allowed the evidence? If the Supreme Court would have heard the Texas versus the battleground states rather than dismissing it improperly for a phony standing reason, you would have heard and seen the evidence. You're not going to ever see any of the evidence on CNN or MSNBC. You're not. Did you see the movie 2000 Mules? And I jokingly call it 2,000 Mules and One Whale because of Stacey Abrams. But again, that's just me having a little fun. It's meant in fun. I don't mean to be malicious with it. It's just poking a little fun because we got to have a sense of humor. But the evidence is there for you to see with your own damn eyes. I wrote 3 articles online regarding election fraud and pointed out much of the fraud myself. You can find it if you look to real sources, not Wikipedia. Michael, if I told you that a majority of my information for my book came from Wikipedia, you'd laugh me off this show.
Wouldn't even take you serious, buddy. Go have fun with that on CNN or I know ABC's The View, the radical view. Feel about that. It'd be like, we would really want to hear your concern. But yeah.
I really want us to get to that Gavin Newsom ad because we can put Meezer to shame just countering the ridiculous claims. If you show that idiotic Gavin Newsom ad, he talks about banning books. No, we're talking about not having pornography or pedophilia shown to people, children of inappropriate ages. You on the left banned To Catcher in the Rye. The left banned Tom Sawyer. The left banned To Kill a Mockingbird. Classic books that were meant to talk about and teach about racism and other principles. They banned those books. And the crime situation, Newsom, what a joke. 7-Elevens are closing all over California because of the crime. I myself was in California for a month in 2002 in August. I went to that Ontario, California 7-Eleven that's closing. I know that area. It used to be a nice area. It is now like a third world nation that Gavin Newsom and the fascocrats have given us. California, the homelessness that you have in California.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Joseph here. I do want to basically get a comment in here. I'm going to try to plug it in. Coming actually off of Joseph's panel here, off of YouTube, basically asking Joseph now, and he's agreeing with Joseph. And I'm not just saying that, folks, because he's on his channel, but he's agreeing with Joseph with everything he's saying. The fascocrats, Bernie Sanders, going on to everything. Please, I need you to grant permission off of YouTube so I can plug in the comment, and give the credit where it's due. But before we go into this comment, I got to get into a clip here. Joseph wants to see the ad. And guys, this ad is literally being launched in Florida. Now you're going to understand why it's being launched in Florida, and they're doing it on purpose. Who to attack? I think you know what I'm talking about, guys. Check this ad out.
Today, Governor Newsom has a new campaign ad airing, but not here in California. It's airing in Florida. Thanks for joining us for Fox 40 News at 5:30. I'm Eric Harriman. Nikki has the day off. That move is renewing a lot of questions about Newsom's potential plans for a future presidential run. Fox 40 Capitol reporter Ashley Zavala explains.
It's Independence Day, so let's talk about what's going on in America.
Governor Gavin Newsom's re-election campaign dropping its latest ad on 4th of July. But instead of speaking to California voters, the ad is airing nearly 3,000 miles away in Florida on Fox News cable zones across that state.
Freedom? It's under attack in your state.
Newsom taking aim at Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and his efforts to ban abortion, limit free speech in class, and tighten voting restrictions. DeSantis has been considered a potential front-running Republican candidate for president in 2024.
Or join us in California, where we still believe in freedom.
The ad setting off political fireworks and raising questions about Newsom's future beyond California. Stephen Maviglio is a Democratic strategist.
I think it's a really smart investment. I mean, for $100,000, he's getting $1 million worth of national publicity. There's a lot of buzz these days about Joe Biden not running again and who will run. And I think Gavin Newsom certainly wants his name in that running. And this is one way to guarantee that.
But Newsom has recently said he has sub-zero interest in running for president.
I think the governor's smart enough to realize his name is still on the ballot this year to run for governor of California. And even though it's going to be a cakewalk, I think he doesn't want to take that for granted with voters. So it's just something to say. I mean, anybody who spent 5 minutes with the guy knows he has, one eye always looking at that Oval Office.
Meanwhile, DeSantis has not directly responded to the ad. His campaign spokesperson told CNN Gavin Newsom might as well light a pile of cash on fire. Pass the popcorn for his desperate attempt to win back the California refugees who fled the hellhole he created in his state to come to Florida. In Sacramento, Ashley Zavala, Fox 40 News.
Joseph, what's your thoughts on that there, buddy?
They covered it. Amazing, though. A Sacramento station, which is still has somewhat conservative leanings in that hellhole state, as it correctly points out. Covering that as they did is quite amazing, even still. And again, let me go down the list. The joke. Crime soaring. Yes, please, leftists, leave all the red states. Go to California for the soaring crime, the soaring homelessness. You don't have that in Florida, which is also a warm state. The soaring drug use and overdoses, the soaring taxes, whereas Florida doesn't even have a state income tax. Ignoring the Constitution and specifically the 14th Amendment. So yes, please, and let me tell you, since Meeser doesn't understand history, 5 decades ago, California started circulating petitions to secede from the Union. Please do. Become your own nation. We don't want California as part of the United States. But yet, Texas talks about seceding, and everybody makes fun of it. It's, again, the usual double standard and hypocrisy and or lack of education. They don't know and they don't want to know. They want to keep their delusional bubble intact.
Yeah, they do. Joseph, I want to get into a promo here on the show, guys. If you head over to PatriotUnfiltered.com, guys. Again, PatriotUnfiltered.com, guys. We have a tremendous new product, two products actually, hitting the website, guys. That's right, guys. If you use the promo code Patriot1, right, you're going to get free shipping. Grab your exclusive, no more excuses, no more bullshit merchandise. That's right, guys. We don't want to hear the bullshit. We don't want to hear the excuses anymore. It's time to take our country back. Grab this merchandise, guys. Show it in front of that liberal and say, guess what, guys? Take your bullshit the other way because we're tired of hearing it. Guys, head over to Patriot Unfiltered. Grab that and let's take back freedom. Joseph here. I'm going to plug in a video here, Joseph, with Bongino, right? Everybody knows who Dan Bongino is. Another tremendous podcast host. Started out as a little man, now is a Fox affiliate on Fox Nation. Has his own show, Unfiltered, with Dan Bongino, as well as regular show that he does out of the comforts of his home there in South Florida. Guys, I'm going to plug this in here in a bit here. You're going to want to check this out. Literally, Dan Bongino, Joseph, exposing the turmoil here in America. And Bongino is right, guys. You're going to want to check this video out as we are uploading the show because it's a doozer. He is, guys. Check this out. Dan Bongino. Great.
Folks, is Joe Biden the worst president in U.S. history? Of course. And listen, I'm not just asking conservatives who probably agree with me. I'm asking the libs watch. Yeah, it's easy to point out his endless stream of ridiculous gaffes, his word salads, and his non sequiturs like these.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. We made incredible progress on the economy.
Every day I post on social media, Joe Biden's the worst president in U.S. history. I'm not just wasting your time. I do it because I believe it's true. Man has zero political instincts and definitely doesn't have the political instincts needed to succeed as president of the United States. For example, despite our open border crisis, you're all watching on TV, right? The Biden administration quietly amended the language of its immigration policy to make it easier for some else to enter the country, even have ties to terrorists. Wait, what? You know? Read for yourself. It's the Homeland Security saying the new exemptions may apply to individuals who provided or material support to a designated terrorist organization. Don't worry, folks. No big deal. As long as you only provided support, you're A-okay. No sweat. Come on in. It's hard to believe even being considered by the president. But in case you missed that one, here's another example of this man's genuinely awful political instincts, the worst I have ever seen. Remember how Joe dipped into our strategic oil to try to help bring down the price of gas? We've been forced to. Well, take a look at this. More than 5 million barrels of those reserves exported to Europe. And get this, even China. You got to be saying to yourself, this is clearly a mistake. Nobody's this dumb. No, it's not. Now Fox News has learned that Biden had the ability to stop the reserves from being exported, but he didn't do it because he has the worst poll I've ever seen. And making matters worse, again, hard to believe, reportedly a Hunter Biden business Canadian energy firm that got the oil. You can't make it up. Can't make this stuff up. Folks, listen, forget about Biden being president for a moment. These moronic just basic line, all right? Anyone who's a president can figure out those are stupid things to do, letting known terrorist ties into the country, exporting our strategic oil reserves to China, nuclear-powered enemy, as we pay record prices in the U.S. What kind of an idiot does that? For a guy who was called Lunch Bucket Joe, he sure seemed.
Lunch Bucket Joe. That's the new nickname for Joe Biden. Lunch Bucket. Guys, first and foremost, Joseph, I agree with Dan Bongino. Hat tip to you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for stepping up for the American people. A fellow podcaster such as myself, okay? I may be low on the totem pole with Bongino because Bongino, Dr. Michael Savage, Tucker Carlson, Judge Jeanine Pirro, all those folks are America's wing, really fighting for this country. And I'm like literally the little bird coming up to the big bird and helping them out, okay? But Lunch Bucket Joe, let's talk about Lunch Bucket Joe because I know this idiot here on Twitch, okay? I'm sorry, you are, buddy. You're coming out with some really, really stupid comments, but, Lunch Bucket Joe, why do you think he calls himself Lunch or Bongino calling Joe Biden Lunch Bucket Joe, Joseph?
Well, it's certainly tongue-in-cheek and meant in jest. It's what was Scranton Joe. Remember, Biden wanted to be known as Scranton Joe. He's a normal guy. He's just one of the folks, Mr. Amtrak. Yeah, he's had a silver spoon in his mouth for 5 decades now. All he has known is sucking off the government teat, stealing our tax money to line his pockets. And look at all the Hunter Biden stuff that I'm sure Meeser is going to say is a conspiracy theory.
Well, I mean, you could look at the comments coming in from Meeser. I haven't attacked this Joe Leonard. I don't see a reason for them to attack me, saying what I understand or do not. Insulting others directly is a useless show of lazy and fear. It's a useless show of lazy and fear. Folks, we're not in. Yeah, hold on, Joseph. We're not insinuating fear or laziness. If I'm reading your comments correctly, we're basically educating, like Joseph Leonard said earlier in the show, the uneducated, because it is literally pathetic how liberals and leftists are very uneducated in this country. They'll believe anything that mainstream or Big Brother in the White House will tell them. Joseph, we just got off of almost a 3-year pandemic that had everybody in fear. Wear your mask. Get your vaccinations. What are they on? Like the 7th or 8th booster shot right now? That's over and done with, okay? COVID is done. It's buried. It died out. There's no such thing as COVID anymore. You know why? Because buses, public transportation, trains, airplane companies, all these public transit companies are now seeing true reality behind COVID. It was a plan to begin with. I've been saying it for nearly 3 years on this show. The very first show, you can go back and look at it. I said that COVID was bullshit. I said it was a political sense, Jonder. From the get-go, it was used to try to kill the Republican Party. They tried, Joseph, but they failed because there's a red wave literally coming into this country.
Yeah, and some other idiot that Meeser now has trolling us in the comments is saying that the Dems are going to bury us in the midterms. I mean, how more delusional can you get than that? But thank you. Please don't defend me. Don't even bother to engage the others in the chat. You're just wasting your time. They are trolling you. They are trolling me. They are trolling Mike. They have contradicted themselves several times. This is the usual psychological projection and pot calling the kettle black. He says, I attacked him first. The left has called us deplorables, irredeemable. They're constantly trying to label us as racist, sexist, homophobic,
hey Joseph,
whatever, because they can't win a debate. But now he's going to whine about name calling.
Joseph, can I say something real quick? First and foremost, okay, to all the liberals out there, leftists, how am I being confronted? How am I on any of that note? How am I being confronted? I'm not fueled. First and foremost, let me edge here. Okay? Confronted and being fueled up is two different things. Obviously, with all due respect, you don't run a show. You're not a host. You're not a producer. You're none of that, okay? I've been doing this, folks, for nearly 15 years. I ran my show for 3, but prior to the 3, I've been in this business for 12, okay? I am fueling up my audience to educate them. That's a difference. You see it through myself. You see it through other podcast hosts such as Bongino, Savage. Tucker Carlson has done it numerous times on his show. That is the difference. I mean, am I right, Joseph, or what?
Oh, no, you're spot on again. And, of course, Meeser now says, you're not being trolled. You're being confronted, which is what you're speaking to. No, this is exactly right. Half of what he's spewing, he probably knows to be nothing but a pile of manure. But in order to show off to his friends, he's going to come on the Patriot Angle, unfiltered, and troll us. And again, Synth, don't bother to engage them anymore. And I shouldn't even be saying what I'm saying now because it just fuels, to use Mike's term, their stupidity, their desire to continue to troll. They're just trying to get a rise out of us. Because again, they are the name callers. They call you racist or sexist or homophobic or transphobic. Any name they can think of to stop the factual, scientific, realistic debate. They cannot win an honest argument.
See, Joseph, this is what's wrong. Yeah, this is what's wrong with America. This is what is dividing us. When you have people that literally, they can't take an opinion versus a fact. They think that everything is like, oh boy, I'm gonna melt. Oh boy, oh, my feelings are getting hurt. Grow up, come on, get a set and grow up. This is opinion. It's not. I mean, come on. These are my opinions. Okay, I might be wrong. I might be right. They're opinions. Get over it. Stop with this nonsense already. It's nonsense, Joseph. It really is.
Well, again, there's. As I address this in my book, today you don't have to have any facts. You get to say it's my truth. It's my feeling. So therefore it must be true, regardless of any facts to back it up or not. And that's the point here. Everyone has a right to their own opinion. You don't have a right to your own set of facts, your delusional bubble of make-believe and make us buy it. There are 2 genders. All the rest is deformative. It's science, basic biology, but yet their bubble, their delusion, they are science deniers. And then in usual true psychological projection form, what have they done over COVID? They call us science deniers, even though there's 250 plus years of mask science. Bacteria and virus, which a COVID is, gets through a cloth mask. They're useless. Look at any medical journal, morons. Look, research. Something other than what fraud and CNN is telling you.
Yeah, Joseph. Joseph, it
let me mention the N95 mask.
Political headaches.
Mask,
political headaches. That's what it is. Yeah.
The N95 mask to the uneducated. Why is it called that? It's because it only protects against 95% of bacterium and virus. These are facts. These are not my feelings. And you can look in the medical journals and see the SARS variant, which COVID is not protected in even an N95 mask. Wake up, do some damn research in legitimate sources like medical journals. Facts, not feelings. So I have a right to my opinion, so do you. But guess what? I have the facts. And, we go over this.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, folks, it's getting closer and closer to election season, and we got another little update here. And the closer we get to the peak here, the more polling analysis and election analysis we're going to be doing. Now, look, I'm an open-minded, honest guy, and if I see evidence that proves a narrative, then I'll change my mind. Now, a topic we've been talking a whole lot about recently is that somehow the Democrats stand a chance. Well, I keep seeing evidence to the contrary. In fact, the evidence is so staggering, so massive, it's getting to a point where it's undeniable. I mean, I think at this point, the Democrats are going to need a serious miracle, something out of this world. But considering their relationship with religion, probably not going to happen. And that's exactly it, folks. A Democrat turnaround, probably not going to happen. Political trends are something we've been analyzing for a long time, and like I always say when it comes to these political trends, they take a long time to materialize. But it seems as though the 2020s is the era of breaking historical trends and historical precedent. We are seeing a massive political shift that's happening with haste, fast, the last 12 months. Data just released suggests that in the last 12 months, in the last year, more than 1 million American citizens have switched to the Republican Party. Let's go back to that absolutely horrible Geraldo Rivera take on Twitter, where Geraldo said after Roe v. Wade was overturned that the Supreme Court of the United States has breathed life into the Democratic Party with this incendiary issue. Now watch Republicans lose the suburbs is what he says. Political expert Geraldo Rivera, otherwise known as the biggest clown on Fox News since Juan William Lev. Well, what if I told you that the 1 million Americans that over the last 12 months have switched to the Republican Party, well, a good chunk, if not the majority of them, are suburban voters. Folks, the Democrat worst nightmare is multifaceted, folks. It's not just black voters. It's not just Hispanic voters. It's middle-class swing voters and suburban moms. That right there, folks, is probably the worst news Democrat election offices could ever receive. Let me update you guys on what's going on here. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, friends, so take a look at this piece right over here from the Daily Wire. More than 1 million voters have switched to the Republican Party in the last year, data shows. The times are a-changin', while the mainstream media went wall to wall throughout the weekend with breathless coverage over the Supreme Court's ruling on Friday overturning Roe v. Wade. A new report says that more than 1 million Americans have switched to the Republican Party in the last 12 months. A political shift is beginning to take hold across the U.S. as tens of thousands of suburban swing voters who helped fuel the Democratic Party's gains in recent years are becoming Republicans, the Associated Press reported. More than 1 million voters across 43 states have switched to the Republican Party over the last year, according to voter registration data analyzed by the Associated Press. The previously unreported number reflects a phenomenon that is playing out in virtually every region of the country, Democratic and Republican states along with cities and small towns. In the period since President Joe Biden replaced former President Donald Trump, the AP said that the explosion of Republicans in key battleground states could play a factor in the 2022 midterms and the 2024 presidential election. Now that's the understatement of the year. Might I remind you that Joe Biden's electoral victory in 2020 was by a mere 40,000 votes across 3 key swing states, winning by barely 10,000 votes in Wisconsin, a little bit above 10,000 in Georgia, and I think 10 or 20,000 in the state of Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. Just barely squeaking by. And now you mean to tell me that based on voter registration data and patterns, just in the last 12 months, not even since 2020, when we were seeing Democrat and Joe Biden voter regret as people cast their early ballots, and then all of a sudden the Hunter Biden laptop and corruption scandal started to explode. But not since then, but just in the last 12 months, over 1 million people have switched to the Republican Party. The Associated Press says that this could play a factor in 2022. No, it is going to play a factor. In fact, it might be the only factor leading to what seems to be the inevitable outcome, which is, of course, the inevitable collapse of the Democrat establishment and Democrat Party. 1 million people have made the switch, and they're just saying that that's 1 million people switching to the Republican Party. Who knows if that includes first-time voters and people just registering as Republicans for the first time. And we know that it doesn't include states that don't even register voters in the first place. Places like Texas don't even have voter registration data. So this really isn't even the full picture. We're talking about 1 million more Republicans than the last election baseline. And of course, just follow the logic. That means hundreds of thousands less Democrats heading into the next election as people are switching over. And then add on top of that voter enthusiasm, the Democrats are just not enthused to vote and Republicans are extremely enthused to BTFO Joe Biden and these corrupt Democrats. Well, it's a recipe for disaster. It means you're probably not going to be seeing too much
around the Hulu motel and you start to realize everybody's into something. There are those whose theories have theories.
It's obviously the cat guy. It's always the cat guy.
Others live to chase the thrill. But no matter what you're into, Hulu has it all. No questions asked. 'Cause hey, who am I to judge?
Huzzah.
Michael Gardner, Unfiltered.
All right, guys, we're back here on the show of shows, guys. I didn't realize this show was going to offend a lot of people. Apparently, people do have a soft heart, and they get easily offended. That's our society. I always wanted to do a show to show people that. To show people just how easily offended people get. So without further ado, guys, more of Joseph Leonard here on the show. Joseph, what a heated show, pal.
Yeah. Well, I want to quote Meeser again. The formula is simple. You either agree with us in whole without question, or you become the enemy. And before I go further, yes, I hope you will now be able to chime in some of the thinking side of the internet with my YouTube channel and the Twitter and Facebook. But Meeser, again.
Hopefully he gets educated, Joseph.
Again, with the psychological projection. Look at Twitter.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me that's an honest, open debate platform? You don't censor conservatives? I'm one of the mighty 200. I was directly attacked by Hillary Clinton in 2016 as
I remember you telling me that.
As supposedly a Russian bot or a Russian asset. You know, it was part of the whole Russian collusion delusion narrative. They started it on Twitter before they then went on to accuse Trump of it, and then the whole fake Steele dossier thing. So,
I could agree with you, Joseph.
Feelings.
Yeah, I could agree because, the co-host here on the show, Soslin, he's getting attacked every single day. He's a former refugee from Russia, now living in the United States, and they're attacking him all the time. They're bringing up January 6th. Soslin did go up to the Capitol on January 6th. No, folks, he was not one of the rioters. He didn't break into federal property. I want to set the record straight. I want to put out that stupid article, that stupid article that put out a stupid article for Sauce. I forgot the name of the paper. Christ. What a liberal paper. It was like similar to Drudge Report and stuff like that, where they basically put a article for Sauce saying that he was a destructor and he was causing property damage and this and that. No, he was in the mob of people, and he was there to literally peacefully protest his views and thoughts. These are just the standard liberal, literally trying to attack the conservative American that's trying to protect our principles. Like Joseph. Joseph's getting attacked. I'm getting attacked every single day. I was taken off of YouTube for expressing truth, not misinformation, truth. Okay? Those are now trying to attack me on Twitch, saying that I do the same thing. Now, I thought Twitch was conservative. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay? But guess what, guys? I have a backup plan. Twitch decides to take me and pull the plug. By all means, I guess that's the way it is. But guess what, Joseph? I guess I won and they lost because I express the truth. Okay? There are so many platforms out there that I can express my content, my material, without getting shadow banned, censored, and everything else. What they're doing, Joseph, is complete nonsense.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, these are now, again, trying to throw spaghetti at the wall to see what Six says. He's not on Twitter. Like, that's the only place censorship is happening. Like you just pointed out on YouTube. I've had videos pulled by YouTube also, censored. I'm on Facebook. We talked about we're restreaming on my Facebook account. That's an alias account because my Facebook account was under my legal name was permabanned on July the 4th, 2018. And that day is not coincidental. So please,
but isn't that upsetting?
Outrage that conservatives aren't really being censored. It's a load of malarkey, and everybody knows it. And it's like that video you showed, Michael. People are finally awakening. They're not falling for the fake woke manure anymore and leaving the Democrat Party in drops.
But isn't that sad? Where you, sir, Joseph, you have to use an alias handle just to literally show people, because not everybody on Facebook is a liberal or a leftist or a socialist or a communist. There are some Republicans of conservative value that do go on to Facebook. Maybe they want to see content that's not always expressed by a liberal mindset. Maybe they want to see content that comes from a conservative such as yourself, Joseph, or mine. Okay? They can't see that because the little freaking fact checkers up in San Francisco Valley have to go with their little computer. Oh, I don't like that. He's wrong. He's wrong. He's saying all this misinformation. How the hell do you know if it's misinformation? Do you live with me? When I take a shit, are you sitting next to me while I wipe my ass? I mean, it comes down to simple logic.
Yeah.
Get over it and move on with your life. Are you a grown-ass man or a grown-ass woman, or are you a kindergarten child? Literally, get over yourself and move on. Move on. You know?
And these, like PolitiFact, it's a joke.
Yeah.
They are left-wing controlled propaganda organizations. So you post a fact in a paragraph, they will nitpick something else. Somehow you said in your paragraph to say it's only partially true to try to discredit you. They, like if you use the wrong grammar, they fact check your statement to say, well, the way you said it isn't 100% correct, to discredit you because, again, these fact checkers really can't take on the facts. I mentioned earlier the masks. Twitter and Facebook, whenever you post facts from a medical journal about masks not protecting you against COVID, they take it down or they put up a fact check. And it's false. It comes from a medical journal. Couple hundred years of science, facts, not feelings. The left only has what they feel, and they twist the language to distort facts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Joseph here, for those who are not realizing this, thank you very much to Twitter. We are blowing it up. We're actually trending #1 on Twitter in the politics section. Thank you very much. Trending #1 on Twitch. Thank you very much. Also doing very well on YouTube. Joseph's channel actually is trending at number 40. Thank you very much. That's some great stuff. Thank you very much. Let's keep this video trending. Let's get the exposure out there. Let's guys, for those who are not aware, we put a little ticker here on the bottom. Got us here on the show on Spotify, Google, Apple, Amazon Music. We're now on Amazon Alexa devices. That's right, guys. To Alexa, hey Alexa, play the Patriot Angle podcast. It will play the most current episode. Okay, this episode has not been finalized yet, obviously, so it will play last night's episode that I was basically expressing earlier in the feed here with myself, Tommy Nation, Jimmy the Rant, Sauce, and the gentleman that joined us from Toronto, Canada. Really, really good show. I really highly recommend you tune into that show. Did break the glass ceiling. We were going over each other. It was very heated topics on the show. But Joseph here, before we close it out, sir, I want to say one thing. I want to say one thing only. When will this literally mindset of craziness end here in America? Because you know what they're calling us here, sir? They are now calling us paranoid conspiracy personalities. They're saying that we're becoming a danger to the world and also a danger to the population of this planet. How are we doing that? Are we really a danger because we're breaking their hearts? We're exposing the truth. We're trying to educate, like I said, the uneducated. Okay, don't get me wrong. It's okay to know that you're not educated. It's okay to learn from somebody that is a little bit more highly educated than you, maybe a little bit more intelligent than you. It's okay. It's okay. Don't feel bad.
Right. There are always, no one is a know-it-all, a jack of all trades, as they say, right? I share a meme on Twitter a lot that I'm not a know-it-all. I just play one on the internet, as a joke. But it makes a serious point. We all are lacking in some areas of knowledge, and being smart enough to know that you don't know enough in a given area and willing to learn is an important thing. And I discuss that also in my book. No one is ever going to know everything, but the old saying, with age comes wisdom. I mean, that's true. I'm going to turn 60 this year. I sure as hell know a lot more than I did 30, 40 years ago. But these kids, it's self-esteem over substance in the schools. They are made to feel so proud of how stupid they are and uninformed they are. That just whatever you feel, little Johnny, is the truth. It's your truth, and you go with that. You be as dumb as you want to be and be really high on yourself about it.
Yeah, Joseph, this expresses our society in a nutshell. I mean, literally, the threat is inside our borders. That's the real threat. We're not seeing a threat in foreign affairs. We're seeing a threat in our own borders. Our own people are becoming our enemy. And, every single day, Joe, to add, literally, the hell is going on? Okay, I think I'm okay. There we go. These politics or policies, these are politics or policies, Joseph, of a dictatorship. We're seeing that right now in our country. Literally a dictatorship. Also, too, I also want to throw in here this right here, which is a plain example. Literally, is the Democrats the true destructor, of our society now in 2022? Is it, Joseph? Do you see it going that way? Is it the truth?
Oh, yeah. I mean, as I don't remember who said it, but we will not be destroyed from without. The only way America can be destroyed is from within. And that might have been Abraham Lincoln. And it's hilarious. One of our left loons is quoting Abraham Lincoln about united we stand, divided we fall. You know,
I
a divided America.
Yeah, I did see that.
Who probably doesn't even understand that Abraham Lincoln was the first Republican president and freed the slaves, that the Democrats created the KKK and the Jim Crow laws.
Yeah, Joseph, here's the question right here. Why are constantly liberals or leftists, why do they constantly get upset? Why do they feel triggered by what we say? Do they know it's the truth that we're saying? Or is it that they're trying, like you said earlier in the stream, they're trying to rebuttal a response, but they just don't have a response? Is that it?
Well, it depends on the person, of course. I mean, I don't know these people in the chat, so I can't say. But
well, obviously, I don't know them. They're complete strangers. Yeah, but I'm just saying for an example. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but someone like a Pelosi or a Schumer or a Biden. Well, maybe not Biden. He doesn't know anything right now. He doesn't even know who the hell he is, where he is at. He's constantly asking, what do I do next? But Pelosi and Schumer
Joseph.
know better. Yeah. They just lie.
Yeah. Hold on, Joseph. You know, speaking of Biden here, as we close it up, let's see what's going on with Biden. The current episode of the White House, guys. Let's check it out here.
Morning, everyone. With today's excellent jobs report and unemployment remaining at near historic lows of 3.6%, I want to speak very briefly today about our economy. Because of the enormous progress we've made on the economy, the Americans can tackle inflation from a position of strength. America has achieved the most robust recovery in modern history. The job market is the strongest it's been since just after World War II. The economy added 390,000 new jobs, bringing the total since I took office to 8.7 million new jobs, an all-time record. More Americans entered the labor force in May. In fact, working-age people have come back into the workforce at a faster rate in this recovery than at any point in the last 40 years. The unemployment rate is near historic lows. Millions of Americans moving up to better jobs with better pay. American manufacturing is booming. 600,000 new manufacturing jobs created since I took office. Since I took office, families are carrying less debt. Their average savings are up. More Americans feel financially comfortable. That confidence and comfortability is part of the reason why Americans applied to start more new small businesses last year than ever before in American history. Our historically strong growth, a faster than expected recovery in jobs, earnings, economic growth, all strengthen the financial prospects. In fact, America is in a stronger economic position today than just about any other country in the world. The U.S. economy could grow faster than China's economy this year. That hasn't happened since 1976, nearly one half century ago. We've laid an economic foundation that's historically strong. That's a sign of a healthy economy with steady growth, rising wages for working families, everyday costs easing up. That stability puts us in a strong position. I led the world to coordinate the largest release of global oil reserves in history. I directed the sale of gasoline using homegrown biofuels this summer to lower prescription drug costs, to lower rent and mortgage costs, lower the cost of high-speed internet, lower the cost of everyday goods. That was my economic strategy, built into our historic recovery. Record jobs, new record small businesses, and wages rising. Historic economic growth that not only helped tens of millions of families move up, my plans to produce the strongest, fastest, most widespread economic recovery America has ever experienced. I was tired of trickle-down economics. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Thank you.
That was hilarious.
That was a wonderful. That was a wonderful episode of the White House, guys. You can catch it live on Netflix. You could see it on. I think they're airing it on CBS. Believe it or not. No, I'm just joking, guys. It's not a real show. Don't hold me to it. Oh, Michael, it's not a real show. What are you talking about?
We talked about the unemployment rate versus the labor participation rate. It was classic rebuttal of what he said in there. And us energy independence just 2 years ago, and look at the shambles that energy is in the world now. I mean, everything he said, we need a 10-hour show to rebut each and every lie he gave in that video. But left-wing loons laugh it up. They see the prices at the store, but they're clueless to understand Jimmy Carter 2.0 is the cause of that.
You know, Joseph, I need to ask a question here, okay? I tried asking a question to Tommy the other night. These are folks that do support a leftist or a liberal narrative agenda, what have you. But, you know, I'm starting to see that die out. They still support that view. But, you know, I'm seeing that people are saying that it's great watching the president lie to everyone. The tradition continues. Now, aren't these people that voted for Biden? Is there a new party forming that I don't know of?
Given the other comments from the person you just quoted, obviously it's a Biden voter. But yet, now, again, it's the spaghetti. Throw spaghetti at the wall. Try to say something credible now to pretend all the other manure he's peddled is somehow relevant.
I don't understand the demeanor behind it. I don't understand the character behind it. These are Biden supporters that voted for him in 2020. Okay. But still, they don't support Biden's policy. Do they not support it now? Did they support it then, but they're not supporting it now? I don't understand. Hold on, Joseph. Yeah, 1 second. You're going to understand what I mean by this. Okay, again, do they not support it now? Did they support it at all? Or is the 2020 election coming out to prove that it was a complete lie? These are not supporters of Joe Biden. Hell, they might be supporters of Bernie Sanders, for Christ's sakes.
Bingo!
These are not Biden supporters. They're Sanders supporters. And Biden supporters do not exist, folks. You know where they exist? They exist probably from people that died 20, 30 years ago that fabricated it. They exist through the COVID mail-in ballot scenario. Oh boy, fact check me. I'm going to get censored now because I'm speaking the truth. That's what it comes down to, Joseph.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's what I was going to interject. They're really all Bernie supporters, and Biden isn't gone left enough, fast enough, or hard enough for them. They want Bernie Sanders to be elected Chancellor Supreme or the Führer of the United States and transform it, unlike Obama was also unable to completely do in destroying America, despite his attempt to do so for 8 years.
There's the truth, folks. We just labeled it.
They're spoiled brats who hate the country that gave them everything. And that's a quote in my book. Terror strikes coming soon to a city near you. It's not just about terrorism. It's about these idiots on the left that we've been talking about all night that hate their own country and are trying to destroy us from within. And let me throw one last thing. I put up
on the spot. You definitely nailed it.
You put up a couple of items with a discount code. If people go to terrorstrikes.info/buy, I just added during the break a Patriot Angle, all one word, discount code. You could get an autographed copy of my book at 15% off, and I'll throw in free shipping. This is only valid to people with U.S. addresses, but I don't offer this to everyone. I love Mike and this show and you viewers, so I created Patriot Angle as a discount code. Skip Amazon, buy direct, get a discount.
So the promo code is Patriot Angle, guys. We're going to plug it here into the show. We're going to get rid of some of the graphics here so you can see it a little bit better. Tremendous. Thank you for keeping us in your thoughts there with the Patriot Angle, guys. You can go to, right, Joseph, go to Terror Strikes website. Is that correct?
Yeah, terrorstrikes.info/buy if you want to go right to the page. Promo code, yes, Patriot Angle, all uppercase, all one word, just like you got it. You read my mind. I just created that during the break earlier.
Yeah, awesome stuff, guys. Again, the Terror Strikes website, which we will put the overlay here back before we close it out. If you go over to terrorstrikes.info, okay, not .com, .info, www.terrorstrikes.info. Hit that promo code Patriot Angle, guys. You're gonna get an exclusive offer from the backdrop of Joseph M. Leonard. You're gonna understand what he is literally orchestrating, not only on this show, but in the book, because everything he is explaining here on the show, it is pretty much explained in his book, right? Right, Joseph? I mean, you explain it to great detail.
There's a lot of sub-themes. All these things relate because, again, it's a book on terrorism, but I like to say it's not a book about death. It's a book about life and living, and those both foreign and domestic that hate America and are trying to destroy us. All the sub-themes we talked about today are in the book, and I've got somebody knocking at my door. So I'm going to duck out a second, okay?
Yeah, not a problem. Guys, I want to basically say that please, guys, if you could follow me, okay? I label out the greatest content, okay? I am one of the fewest podcasters that is not afraid to express the truth versus fiction. I do not express no fiction on this show, okay? As you can see, guys, I get, or at least I try to get, the best in the political view in our world to express the truth, okay? There are a lot of shows out there that are afraid of being censored, silent, or just taken off the airwaves, okay? I will express it until they take me off. A lot of people call me a young Michael Savage. I understand why, okay? And now I understand the view from Dr. Michael Savage. Hat tip to you, sir, Dr. Michael Savage. If you're viewing this show, I'd love to have you on my show and pick your brain because you are a tremendous advocate for the conservative movement. Joseph, I do want to thank you for stepping in, filling in the shoes for my co-host Soslin that could not join us tonight. Thank you for taking almost 2 hours of your time on this show, speaking the truth, speaking the knowledge, sir. Anything you want to tell the viewers or the listeners that may listen to the audio podcast shortly after this broadcast?
Yeah, Meeser's at it again. You can build your own website and express it that no one could take your site down. Another lie. Look at Parler, and Amazon AWS services took it down. You can be censored even on the internet. This guy is a clown. Nothing he says is reality. But yeah, I just had somebody at my door knocking on my door because if you're in Michigan,
I'm not worried about that jerk. It's okay.
Well, yeah. Now, I had somebody at my door dropping off yard signs. If you're in Michigan, I just got and will be putting on my lawn Mike Frazier for state senate, Kevin Counts for Michigan House, and Tudor Dixon for Michigan governor. So, and a whole lot of other people worthy of your support, real conservatives, because like I said earlier in the show, I am a conservative first, a constitutionalist. I am only a Republican by necessity, and I fight rhinos every bit as hard as I do fascocrats.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And you don't need a hunting license for that, right, Joseph?
Yeah. All this stuff about us being hyper partisan in the comments, again, a load of manure and psychological projection. I call out the left and the right and Republicans and Democrats equally all the time. But again, they've got to lie about
stuff,
us
Joseph.
to try to discredit us.
They got to do something. But Joseph, I got to get going, buddy. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Remember, follow Joseph just about everywhere. Head over to his website, www.terrorstrikes.info. Check out the book. Check out some of his content on there. The guy's been on a lot of different types of podcasts, a lot of different types of shows. He's full of knowledge. I can vouch for that for him. Also, too, guys, head over to www.patriotunfiltered.com. We have some of the most unfiltered merchandise on the internet right now. The website, Patriot Angle Podcast, is currently in the updating phase. As soon as we have some more information about that, we will give you information to the listener. But thank you very much for tuning in. Joseph, stay on the line real quick, and we'll see you next time on the show, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Take care. God bless.